For over 140 years, a BC hereditary chief's headdress sat in Toronto's The Royal Ontario Museum. The 200-year-old headdress belonged to the Keowatachin, or chief, George O'Hoole, whose family holds a Keo, or traditional land, near Fort St. James in northern BC. It's an important cultural artifact, as it's connected to Dachau hereditary title, land, and governance system.
The title of Keowatachin, which is George O'Hoole was a Keowatachin, is passed down from generation to generation.
Jim Monroe, president of the Keo Society, has a goal to protect the family territory. He says 140 years ago, the headdress made it to the hands of the first resident priest near the territory. It was around the time of the beginning of the federal government's potlatch ban.
When he gave it to Father Maurice, and Father Maurice somehow transported it, or had it transported to Ontario.
Monroe's wife, Petra O'Hoole, holds the title of Keowatachin. She is the great-great-granddaughter of George O'Hoole. It was only 5 years ago they found out the headdress existed and was at the Royal Ontario Museum. Their family traveled to see it.
To the museum in Toronto, and first time we got to see it. It was amazing. And to bring it back here is like it's supposed to be here with my family.
The family worked with BC Museums, Canadian Heritage, and the Truth and Reconciliation Commission on its return. Last year, the Royal Ontario Museum repatriated the headdress to the Keo Society, which is now on display in Prince George's The Exploration Place.
And it just makes you feel so good that you have something that your ancestors left you.
Monroe and O'Hoole's children are also pleased to have their cultural belongings back.
Well, it's a direct connection to my ancestors. The construction of it is through dentalium shells, noble women's hair. It's astounding to look at.
Charlotte Monroe believes getting their cultural belongings back started when they formed the Keo Society 2 decades ago to try stop resource extraction.
Much of our family's work in getting their headdress back really stemmed from us wanting to protect and preserve our land.
She felt it was important to acknowledge her grandmother, Sally O'Hoole, who was a residential school survivor and was instrumental in preserving their culture and inspiring their family. Her story is told along with the headdress display.
Who was born there and raised there until she was taken away on basically a horse and wagon to residential school. First she attended LeJac residential school, and then when LeJac school was full, she was moved to the Kamloops residential school.
Birchbark baskets, carved canoes, and many other cultural artifacts are on exhibit along with the headdress. Anastasia Monroe sees the exhibit as a tool to help young people learn their culture.
It's really significant that the headdress was returned and our family is a part of the process for the exhibit. It's a way to showcase our culture and get their youth interested and to understand where they come from and our systems of governments pre-contact.
Lee Wilson, APTN National News, Prince George.